Hi everyone. In this video, a few topics regarding diploma IFRS, such as what is the aim of conducting this exam, what is the objective of this exam, and also the approach to examining the syllabus. So these are the three topics which are we going to discuss in this video, right? So let us move to the topics. Now let us understand what is the aim, what diploma IFRS would give us, or what ACCA wants from candidates in this exam. So it says to provide qualified accountants or graduates possessing relevant country specific qualifications or work experience with up-to-date and relevant conversion course, providing a practical and detailed knowledge of the key international financial reporting standards and how they are interpreted and applied. So they they want to inculcate the candidates with the practical and knowledge about these IFRS standards, and they want that all who are working professionals should have understanding of the IFRS in kind terms of interpretation and its applications. Okay. Now the objectives. So the first objective is that candidate should be able to understand and explain the structure of the international profession and conceptual framework of financial reporting. So this is this includes a mechanism in respect of how the international financial reporting standards are created. First of all, how they are created, how they are developed, which is the body which develops these uh, standards, and what is the what comprises of that body, and how many bodies are there at the global level that sets these standards. Okay, and the second objective is apply the relevant international financial reporting standards to key elements of financial statements. Okay, now they want you to understand what is how one can apply these standards to each and to key elements of financial statements. So from this course, one would be able to understand the application of these accounting standards in respect of financial statements, right? Okay. The third objective is to identify and apply disclosure measurement for entities relating to presentation of financial statement. Okay. So they want that the candidate must ensure what is required in the disclosures for each standard. So there is focus on the uh, disclosure aspects of the standard also. So we know that each financial statement, annual reports or financial statements requires certain number of disclosures and notes, which includes which conveys the different uh, financial statement matters. So how these notes and this disclosure are to prepare will be discussed in detail. So preparing group financial statements, including subsidiary, associates, and joint arrangements. So this is basically includes those topics which are business combination and consolidation. So how one should disclose or how one should prepare his financial statement, and which include subsidiaries, associates, and joint arrangements. Okay, so these are the objectives. These four are the main objectives, uh, which ACCA thinks that doing diploma IFRS will always benefit the candidates. Okay, so this we can skip. Now this is very important. So the first paragraph generally tells us that the examination would be of 3 hours, and the candidate would be given additional 15 minutes in order to write these starting material or write the starting information, as well as reading the question paper and the this is 15 minutes are provided for that, and 3 hours would be of the paper. Minded this paper would be subjective paper, so it is not an MCQ. Okay. Then the next is time should be taken to ensure all the information and exam requirements are properly read and understood. So the 15 minutes which are generally provided are for this objective, to understand that and ensure that the information and exam requirements are properly understood and read. Okay. So they are saying that the next point is they are saying that most questions will contain a mix of computational and discursive elements. Okay. So now they are explaining the types of question. So the major thing is that all questions will be carrying 25 marks. So this would be a 100 marks exam, and they are saying that four questions, there will be four questions, four major questions, which will carry 25 marks each. Earlier there used to be one question of 40 marks, the first question, and which generally included uh, questions from business combination and consolidation. So now they're saying uh, it would be of 25 marks. And again, the first question would be preparation of one or more of the consolidated financial statements that are examinable within the syllabus. Okay. So again, the first question will be of 25 marks, and which will be on the topic of consolidation financial statement, which would also include that business combination, treatment of accounting for joint enterprises or associates, etc. Right? So okay, now they have discussed about the first question. Okay, now the second question, it says will be the second question will be related to a scenario in which questions arise regarding the appropriate accounting treatment and or disclosure of the range of issues. In this question, candidates may be asked to comment on management's chosen accounting treatment and determine a more appropriate one based on the circumstances described in the question. So this is basically tricky question in case study based question, right? So more appropriately it would be case study based question, in which one would have to give comment on why the management should choose which type of treatment, which type of accounting treatment to a given set of situation, and one has to provide the reasons for it, how that how have to justify how the chosen management accounting treatment is the correct one. Okay, so this is also the one thing is to be noted here is that since the first question would be of 25 marks, and the second, and I think the first question generally would not have any sub questions in it, so it would be complete 25 question. Only one question will be of 25 marks, and in the question two, there would be I think there would be a scenario or a given a case study would be provided to us, in which, and in that case study we have to give answers, and we have to tell us give answers based on some questions which would be in multiple or which could be sub questions. So we have to answer sub questions based on one case study. Okay, now the question 3 is, it tells us question 3 will be usually focused more on specifically on the requirements of one specific IFRS, and this question will typically contain a mixture of explanation of the principles underpinning the standard and the practical application of those principles. So it kind of says that it would pick one specific IFRS, and there will be multiple questions or sub questions relatively on that IFRS, and we have to apply the principles and practical application of those principles in relating to one specific IFRS. So, well, you know that there are different IFRS such as revenue recognition, financial instruments, or leases. These are leases. So these are the new. These are new and lengthy IFRS. I would say the content. These IFRSs are very content heavy, and there are lots of issues and lots of concepts that need to be understood. So the question third would generally pick one IFRS and focus different principles in that IFRS, different concepts in that IFRS will be asked in third question in the form of sub questions. Okay. Now the question. Now the question fourth will usually consist of a scenario in which the candidate is given a series of queries from a superior relating to the financial statements. The requirement will usually be to answer each query. The queries will normally be independent of each other. Okay. So again, in the third question or in the second question, what what we saw that there will be single case study. So the question case study in the second question there will be a case study and there will be sub questions regarding that case study, right? So in also in question three there would be a single standard and there will be sub question regarding that standard. But in fourth question, the overall fourth question will carry 25 marks only, but thing is there will be sub parts. It will be divided into sub parts, and each that sub part of the question will carry different marks, and those sub parts would also not be relatable to each other. So these will be independent question having coming in the fourth question within the sub part section. Okay, good. Now is the third. So it is also saying that it will be rare for the queries in the question 4 to require numerical answers. So they are trying to say that uh, this would be a numerical less numerical answer. So it will be rare to have queries in this question number 4. So, so it means that question number 4 would generally mean uh, it would be generally theoretical ones. So it could be scoring. We have to be thoroughly, done with our syllabus in order to solve these questions. Okay. So some so the next paragraph says that some IFRS standards are very detailed and complex. Okay. In a diploma IFRS exam, candidate needs to be aware of the principles and key element of these standards. So in a nutshell, they are trying to say that some IFRS are detailed, which means that like I told, there are few IFRSs which are very lengthy and which require a lot of expertise in order to have a grasp on them. But they are saying that if we are aware of the principles or we are aware of the concepts, and if we are good with the concepts and the questions, and then we can easily solve the questions and or the level of questions they are going to ask, then we can easily solve them. Okay, the candidates will also be expected to have an appreciation of the background and need for the international financial reporting standard and issues related with the harmonization of accounting in the global context. And candidates, so this is also regarding that the candidates need to have some background understanding of the standards and how these standards are going to be applied. So this is the main objective that one should be able to understand the standard, and having learned diploma IFRS, one could easily help in harmonizing these auditing standards or auditing material in accounting material in global context. Okay, so the overall passing marks of the I have a diploma IFRS is 50%. So this is very important. So you need to understand that you need to have 50% marks. So the paper will be of let's say 100 marks, right? So you need to have 50. You need to score 50 marks in order to pass the exam. Okay. So that's it. We have discussed the general approach of exam of the syllabus and how the syllabus will be asked. What will the paper? What will the exam? So I'll be talking about the syllabus in the next video. Thank you.